Hey guys, welcome back to Oopsie Daisy. I'm your host, Amanda Herdler, and I am here to wish you a warm and joyful Quitters Day 2026. Did you know that today, Friday, January, what is it? I don't even know. I better check before I just rattle off a date. Friday, January 9th, 2026 is Quitters Day because the second Friday of January is the day that 88% of people completely abandon, lose all motivation for, and just completely ditch all of the wild and wonderful and healthy habits and resolutions that they have promised themselves to do in the new year. Apparently, that day is today, which kind of vibes with how I'm feeling is that I just want to quit everything. I'm already crying. I asked a word from God for 2026. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I'm not an idiot. I know I'm going to pick something that's wildly unnecessary and I'm going to lose interest in it. And then I'm going to feel bad that I abandon it. So I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I do ask God every year for a word for the next year. And every time I do, he has just been so faithful to come through and just make it happen. About 5 years ago, I did it for the first time. And he told me that my word or phrase for that year was going to be with bated breath. And I was like, that makes no sense. That's ridiculous. It's not even a word, it's a phrase. Does that even count? I mean, can I get the grammar police in here on this? But he said to me, you just wait, hold your breath and wait for what I'm going to bring your way this year. You aren't going to need to go find it. It's going to plop right in your lap and it's going to be incredible and it's going to change your life. Sure enough, he did it. He took me out of my job in education. I started a job in corporate America, one that I did not even have to go find. It literally plopped into my inbox from a family member who said, you should apply. You like to write? We're hiring writers. And thus began my journey in corporate America that has changed my entire life. And so this year, when I asked God for a word, he said to me, naked. And I was really confused because I was like, do you actually want me to not wear clothing as much? Like, are we being literal here? Do you want me to be derobed with my spouse more? Like, is that something that God would actually tell me? I mean, maybe he said some wild stuff before. But the more that I looked into it and read about nakedness, it had to do with vulnerability and authenticity. But it also has to do with this idea of impressing people and wanting people to like you, wanting to please people, and just being raw, authentically, nakedly yourself, and not trying to get people to think highly of you. And I'll be honest, I think that's an issue for me. I do. I like to do well. I like to perform well. I like to be seen well. And I think I got to let that go. Like, I'll be real. I started this episode about 6 times. And it was all like, oh, welcome to Oopsie Daisy. Ha ha ha. New Year's resolutions, this, that, and the other thing. And then I shut my recording off and I started crying. And I said, I don't want to do this, God. I don't want to do this. It's Quitters Friday. And I want to quit literally everything. I want to quit my job. I want to quit this podcast. I want to quit having responsibilities. I want to quit having to take my kids places. I want to quit overthinking. I want to quit feeling like garbage because I caught this super flu or whatever it is. I thought they were just fear mongering on the news. I'm going to be honest with you. They're like, there's a super bug going around. And I'm like, oh, here we go. They're just trying to scare people to stay inside again. Well, I caught said super bug. And let me tell you, it ain't super. It's like my 3-year-old nephew says, it's super bad. It's super bad. And so I just want to quit real life. I feel like I can't juggle another ball. I can't spin another plate. I can't feel the weight of a single more expectation or responsibility on me before I absolutely lose it and crack under the pressure. And I think this is a little strange coming off like a holiday break where, work is quiet and there's not school. Like, oh, you should be just so well rested. And I'm not. I feel scattered. I feel disoriented. I feel like I pretty much suck at everything. And I'm scared of taking any more things on. And it got me to thinking about how this time of year, with New Year's resolutions and people making these grand gestures of commitment and obedience and faith and all of these things to sort of like start fresh and be a better you, that nobody thinks about the fact that being a better you, being who God called you to be, doing what God called you to do, sometimes looks like doing less. Sometimes it looks like laying things down, and sometimes it looks like doing nothing at all. Nothing. And this makes sense now. Like looking back over the past couple weeks, I think God's been really trying to tell me this message that I've been absolutely ignoring, because I realize that I have been kind of shying away from God, not wanting to approach God fully and openly. Like if I don't look him in the eyes, he won't notice me and he won't see me, because deep down, I'm afraid that he's going to ask me to do something else. And I can't. I can't take on even the weight of a silly little New Year's resolution right now. And I hate that about where I'm at. Okay, I'm in my journal. I'm looking at this. It was Monday, December 8th, 2025. So I'll be real. This has been a month now of feeling this. I thought it was like maybe holiday stress or whatever, but no, I think this is a condition of my soul that I have a deep issue with, that I have taken on way too much, that I'm carrying the weight of my own ridiculous, confusing mind, along with responsibilities and emotions and feelings that aren't mine to carry. And now I'm scared to connect with God because I'm afraid He's going to add something else to the cart that I'm trying to drag through every day of my life. So let me just break this down for you a little bit. Here's what happened Monday, December 8th. I wrote, I think I'm supposed to ask you, Lord, what am I not? Because in order for your ministry and your work to manifest through me, I'm supposed to understand what I am not, where I'm lacking. And so this is what he said to me. You're not disciplined, motivated, compassionate, gritty, strong, organized, very focused on others, don't really have a servant's heart. You're not really consistent. You struggle with being selfless. You're not always gentle, understanding, or patient. And I was like, okay, that is an awesome list of ways that I suck. But I wrote, surprisingly, I don't feel bad about these. This really is an honest assessment of some deep areas of need in my life. Lord, I've tried to do these things and be these things for such a long time, and I can't try anymore. I can do it for a while. I can fake it for a short time, but it's just me trying. I'm so sick of myself. And I lay it down, Lord. Everything I am, everything I'm trying to do, I lay it on the altar. All parts of me need you, but especially these dead and dark parts, Lord. There's no pulse in those areas, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired of trying and failing. I surrender to you. And he said back to me, okay, so here's the first step. Be quiet towards your husband. You may not be ready to be the most supportive or compassionate wife, so just don't be negative. Don't cut him down. And I wrote, I feel such a sigh of relief. I can't try one more thing right now. It's funny, Lord, that the first thing you tell me is to do less, is to be less. It's not you adding more on my plate. It's easing off. It's surrendering. Lord, I feel so relieved. The burden of doing more is so real. To be able to just stop and surrender and having that be okay, what an absolute relief. And then I asked him again, what do you need from me? And he just said, stop. Stop struggling. Stop trying so hard. Stop managing, stop controlling, stop not being able to let go, stop struggling, stop overthinking. End of convo. I think I probably got distracted and started scrolling social media at that point on my phone. But that was at the beginning of December. And I tried to carry that with me for a while. But again, it was me trying to do another thing that I'm going to suck at and I'm going to drop the ball on and I'm going to feel bad and guilty about. And so I worked myself back up into the same tizzy I did a month ago. And here we sit. And yesterday I got up. I got up because it's a new year. It's a new me, Lord. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to read my Bible more and I'm going to pray harder and I'm going to be more consistent. And so I got up really early and I opened my Bible and I opened my journal by my little Christmas tree in my TV room. And I felt the Lord ask me to just not do anything. I'm like, yeah, but like I don't have a lot of time. You know, I'm up early to talk to you. I'm up early to be with you. Like, isn't that what you want me to do? And it was such this clear instruction of 10 minutes silent, no worship music, no Bible, no talking, no nothing. Don't try to pray. Don't try to solve a problem. Don't try to call down the fires of heaven to fix your chest that pretty sure is headed towards pneumonia. Don't do that. Just be quiet and sit still. I set my timer for 10 minutes and I sat there and I looked at the lights twinkling on this little tree and I didn't do anything. And I could feel the Lord's love for me in that moment. The fact that I was just sitting there, not trying to make things happen, not trying to be a good little Christian and study. I just sat there. But 8 minutes into this 10 minutes of this vow of silence that I had taken, I had a vision. God doesn't speak to me as much in pictures. I know he does. It's one of the ways he speaks to all of us, you guys. It's not your imagination all the time. This is one very well documented way that the Lord can speak to you is through pictures and movies that happen in your mind and play in your mind. It's how he speaks to my daughter, a good friend of mine who is an artist. He speaks to me more in words. And so pictures, I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? I don't dabble in the visual arts like others might. But I got this picture of Jesus and he stood in front of me and he leaned over and he put his hand on my congested little chest. And he just smiled at me. And a song went through my head called All of a Sudden. And it starts with a breathe you in. I breathe you in. Come, Holy Spirit, like a mighty rushing wind. And so I put my hand on my chest where I saw in my head Jesus' hand was. And I literally just said, Jesus, over and over and over. I take a deep breath. I would breathe out his name. And I would take another deep breath and I would breathe out his name. And there's a different part of the song that said he's going to come all of a sudden. And I just was like, okay, like waiting for something to pop out suddenly. And it didn't happen. The vision went away and I opened my eyes. Nothing had changed. And I just felt very released to get up. I hadn't prayed. I hadn't read my Bible. I hadn't done all the things that I thought I was expected to do. And I walked out. 2 hours later, my daughter looked at me and she goes, Mom, your voice is back. Because for 5 days, I had such a deep, raspy, froggy voice. I almost lost my voice. I was so congested and so hoarse and it hurt to talk. And I sounded like Froggy from Little Rascals. Have you ever seen that? He's like, hey, wrong sign, Porky. That's how I had talked to people for like almost a week. And she's like, Mom, you sound normal again. And I realized, I'm like, I haven't coughed once for the last hour. And I went from having 15-minute coughing fits where I could hardly catch my breath. And no matter how hard I coughed, nothing would come up. And my chest hurt so bad. And I realized in that moment that I hadn't coughed for over an hour. My voice was back, and I was able to take a deep breath without anything in my chest rattling, without it tripping another coughing fit. All of that congestion and all of that pressure had been released. And I almost started crying because I'll be honest, I was like ready to head to urgent care because I knew without a shadow of a doubt that this puppy was pneumonia. And it hurt so dang bad. And I was tired of being sick. So I was going to head to urgent care and get some meds. And Jesus healed me. He literally healed me. And the only thing that I had to do was sit still. And I've been thinking about that for like the last 24 hours. And this morning, as I'm in all these work meetings now, it's the new year. I saw a meme the other day that said, oh, now everybody's actually circling back because around the holidays in the corporate America, you're not going to get anything done the last 2 weeks of the year. You're just not. And so you're like, hey, can we circle back to this in the beginning of January? Well, there's a problem is that everything comes back around. You got to deal with everything that you put off. And that all hit this week. I have 2 projects kicking off at the same time. Meetings upon meetings are popping up on my calendar. I'm watching from now until March get really, really busy. And I just was overwhelmed by this feeling of being scattered. Like, God, I can't handle everything that you have put in my life for me to take care of. I can't homeschool my daughter well while I work. I can't fit in this digital ministry that you want to happen. I can't fit that in among everything. I can't meal plan and meal prep and all of these things. And I just felt him say, you're right. You can't because you're not focusing on any one of them. You're not sitting still in any one of those things. You feel scattered because you are not allowing yourself to be present in each activity that you're involved in. When you're in a work meeting, in the back of your head, constantly, you're fighting this guilt. You should be upstairs with your daughter. You should have planned a fun math activity for her to do while you're in this meeting. She's going to be lonely up there. She's going to be bored. She's going to hate being homeschooled because you're chained to your desk, and she's going to feel neglected. So I'm in my work meeting, spinning my wheels, not paying attention to what I'm supposed to pay attention to. And then I go upstairs to do math with my daughter. And in between math problems and explanations about pre-algebraic expressions, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I have all these documents to review before the meeting tomorrow. Somebody's expecting me to come with like a well-formed opinion and a roadmap tomorrow. And I can't do that. I don't have time to do that. As I'm making supper before my daughter has volleyball practice, in my head, I'm going, I have to podcast. I have to podcast. What am I doing? Why did I choose to make this? Who needed homemade cream of chicken soup in this casserole, Amanda? What are you doing? And so I'm realizing as I go from activity to activity, my mind is always screaming about the things that I should be doing instead. It's no freaking wonder I'm exhausted. It's no wonder I feel scattered. It's no wonder I feel stressed. It's no wonder I feel like I can't take on one more thing because I'm not even able to get out of my head long enough to focus on anything. And so instead of a New Year's resolution, instead of adding one more thing to my list that I think is going to make things better, I'm not adding a single thing. What I have vowed to do, no, vowed is way too strong a word. But what I feel like the Lord has asked me to do, and I'm going to try my darndest to do it, is to really focus on being present in that moment. I've already lost the battle lately because my brain is in 92 places. And so I feel probably like I'm a lot busier than I am. I feel a lot more burdened than I really am simply because my brain is carrying the load of every single activity all at once and just dealing guilt and anxiety and fear. It's not doing anything for my daughter when I'm in my work meeting and I'm worried about her feeling neglected. It's not. It's not making her feel less neglected. All it's making me do is feel exhausted and overwhelmed and overrun. And we start working on math and I lose it on her for something stupid because I'm mentally exhausted, because I'm anxious. And I'm starting to realize that this fear, this anxiety, this overwhelm is all based on a complete lack of trust that I have for God to take care of things. And that sucks. I hate that. I hate that I have to admit that. And I hate that that's true about me because I've seen him do incredible things in my life, in my family, in the lives of people I'm close to since I became a Christian in 2018. He has proved himself over and over and over. And yet, here I sit with a giant boulder of real big mistrust in my heart. How is it that we can know so much about the character of God? We can know that He's good. We can know that He has good plans for us. We can know that He will make our crooked paths straight and smooth things out and remove the obstacles before us. We know these things in our heads, but when we get in the moment and we get under pressure and we get stressed, and it's like it all goes out the dang window. And it clicked to me because I've been reading the Psalms for a long time. I'm in the 90s of the Psalms, and there's hundreds of them, and I'm getting real sick of the Psalms. I feel like every one of them was about, oh, my enemies are upon me, Lord. My enemies are upon me, Lord. And today, just this morning, it finally hit me that my enemies are my thoughts. They're my mind. They're the misbeliefs and the crooked view that I have of God. And it's kind of destroying me. I mean, I've come a long way in the last, let me look. How long have we been doing this? Half hour, maybe? I feel like I've already come a long way verbally processing with you in the last half hour. But I've been bent and broken under the weight of this garbage for a long time. There's a quote that came up to my head just as I said that. Don't ask me who it came from. I don't know. If you're going to ding me for plagiarism, then go chase the people that are writing papers with ChatGPT because we all cheating somehow, guys. But the quote I heard said, if there is an area of your life that is not glistening with hope, it's an area where you're believing a lie. That really hit me. There's been a slow leak of hope in so many areas of my life, in my health, in some relationships, in my job, in this podcast, in my calling, in my dreams, in my work towards publishing a book this year. It's just been like a balloon slowly deflating. And I didn't even notice it at all because I'm so busy trying to do everything. And this all makes a lot of sense too, because when I went to the Lord and asked him about 2026 and kind of what was in store for me, and I was hoping he would say all of these like amazing and great things, he talked to me about sparrows and swallows, like the bird. And it was like in the most random verse of the Bible about how the sparrows and the swallows had built their nest on the roof of the temple. Who cares? Like, I sort of just skipped over it that day because let's get to the good part that's going to tell me about my destiny and how to solve all my problems. What verse is that in, Jesus? Because that's what I'm here for. And he kept bringing me back to this verse, and I felt like I was supposed to look up like the meaning of sparrows and swallows. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I am not a birder. I do not even enjoy birds. I think they're weird and a little bit scary and highly inconvenient because why would you build your nest in like my front door or my mailbox or on my deck where I like to take my summer evenings and then get mad that I'm there? That is my space, sir. Take your wings somewhere else. And so I'm like just annoyingly sort of hammering my keyboard as I Google the biblical meaning of swallows. I learned that swallows really never stop flying. They're constantly on the move, they're constantly in the air, and they don't really sit or lay. And the Holy Spirit was like, "That's you." And I was like, "But I like to lay down." I wish I was a little more of a swallow at 5 in the morning when my alarm goes off. And I'm like, nah, today ain't that day. But swallows are very, very busy birds. And while they don't rest long, what they do is perch. So they'll stand on something for just a little while to rest and to get their energy back. And interestingly enough, God created these birds so that they don't have feet for like walking well. Like those boots ain't made for walking. They're actually just made for like sort of just perching on the edge of something and being ready to fly again. And the Lord showed me that, Amanda, you don't have to constantly be still, but you need to perch every day on me just for a little while. You have to be willing to stop, to slow down, to let things go, to focus on me. And that is where you will find your rest. Life gets incredibly busy. If you don't intentionally spend even 10 minutes perched with Jesus, quiet in your soul, willing to let Him help dismantle those lies that you're believing and fill you with hope again, with the truth again, to combat whatever broken, bent, and twisted thing you got going on in your head. If you continue to skip that, you will get to where I got to: beat down, discouraged, hopeless, in tears, with snot rolling into a microphone. It ain't a good look. And I understand that. And I understand that this conversation is not for everybody. But I told the Lord I would get naked in 2026 and not try to impress people. So here I am. The longer you stay burdened by staying busy and by continuing to add more and more things to the list that you think you have to do, the harder it is to dig out from under the weight of that. It's like Newton's law of motion. Pick one through 3. I don't know which one it is. I probably didn't pay attention in that class, but there's a law of motion that says objects in motion will stay in motion. That's great. I hope your motion is towards Jesus, because if it's not, you're going the opposite direction. And the more time you spend rolling in the opposite direction, the easier it is for the enemy just to whisper the boldest and weirdest lies to you. And the further you are from God's truth, the more you'll believe them. I finally stopped today as I was like in my tailspin, and I just stopped. And I didn't try to make myself feel any better. I didn't try to fix anything, but I just said to myself, what is the truth about this situation? Like, what would the Lord tell me about my twisted, bent, and scared little self right now? And He kind of brought up to my mind the trajectory that my last year has taken, and how it started off really, really easy, and how each new season He asked me to do something a little bit harder. And that every time He did that, He has always made a way for me to be successful in that. And so I thought to myself, okay, Amanda, you can be a weenie or you can be a warrior. You can let this discouragement and lack of hope and anxiety crush you, and you can sit here and cry about it. Or you can warrior up and realize that God has put you in this situation right where you're at, dealing with what you're dealing with, stuck in the muck that you're stuck in, for a reason. There is nothing that you face right now that He's not willing to help you walk out of, that He's not willing to give you the strategy for it, the strength for it, the truth about it. a solution for it. He's waiting to walk through that with you. But he's not going to shout your instructions as you get your swallow on doing figure eights in the middle of the air because you can't slow down. There are things you're going to have to say no to. There are things you're going to have to let go of. And there is a guardrail, like a fence that you are going to have to put around your mind to help keep you present in the exact situations that God has put you in. You don't have to be a victim of your circumstances. You don't. You don't have to be pushed around by your feelings. You don't have to accept that the suckiness of things right now is the way that it's always going to be. God has something for you, and it's only found in the stillness. And listen to me, honestly, like, if you're watching this video, look me in the eyes. I'm literally trying to tell you that it's not about praying harder or singing louder or attending church more or volunteering extra to teach Sunday school or even reading 4 chapters a day instead of 1 verse. It's none of these things. He's not asking you to stack more behaviors on. He's not asking your faith to become a burden to your already heavy soul. What he's asking for is you to sit still with him and say to him, I give this all to you. I can't do it anymore. I'm quitting. And the second that we quit and we step back, he can go to work. The only time that we can get completely refreshed, redirected, repaired, reinvigorated, relaxed, reset, whatever other word you got in your mind, the only time that can happen is when we quit and we let him take over. I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of laughing over here because the outline of the podcast that I had in my head to do today is not even a bit close to what came out of my mouth, but I'm trusting that this is what the Lord wants you to hear today. On the day that 88% of the population is quitting on their New Year's resolutions, I invite you to join them. I invite you to quit on everything that is keeping you busy and burdened and stuck and to hand it over to God. Watch how that frees you and it heals you and it lightens you and it fills your soul. That's all I got for you today, my friend. I feel like we just talked about 87 different topics. Welcome to the life of a swallow that never stops moving in her body or her brain. But I am so glad you joined me today. I really, really, really pray that you take that to heart and you consider today what you can quit and give to God. Thanks for listening today. I love you guys. We'll talk next week.